to the channel. I'm back to break down this 14-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. We have a lot to get through, so excited to get into it. Just before we do, quick reminder, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And if you are getting very serious about MLB DFS, really looking to further your game, I do offer an MLB DFS premium package. That's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups, as well as direct access to me in the Discord. And I now have a Discord-only option if you want to just hop in the Discord, join a community of like-minded DFS individuals bouncing ideas off each other. I have an option for that as well. So with that being said, let's go to start breaking down this slate today, get you guys in the green, get you in the cash line. As always, I'd like to do that by sorting my sheet by K-rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate is going to be Glenn Otto Jr. We're only dealing with a 5 innings pitch sample size. He had a very good first game in his debut with a 41.2% K overall, the 63.6% K rate to righties, and a 0% K rate to lefties. Of course, this is a very small sample size, but he can't ask for a much better follow-up matchup because the Angels have been striking out a ton. The Angels have been targeting a lot. He's 6'7" on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at, see if we can find him here. Sorry for the delay. Oh, he's down to 5K. He's all the way to the bottom. So he's 5K on DraftKings and 6'7" on FanDuel. Honestly, I don't hate it. I don't think he's the top pitch on the slate, like the K rate, like I typically would see when I sort my sheet. But I mean, 7 strikeouts against a Houston squad over 5 innings pitched, a Houston squad that really doesn't strike out a lot, and he's all the way down to 5K on DraftKings. I don't hate it whatsoever. And I mean, we're talking a massive difference in matchup here. The Angels are a much better matchup. FanDuel, you might be stretching it a little bit with that pitch count, unless we get some reports that he's going to be stretched out a little more. Because you really need your pitcher to be a full stretched out on FanDuel. For the most part, 6'7". I mean, if he was like down to 5'5", I'd be more willing to not deal with that. But 6'7", he's priced up enough to where I need a little bit more of a leash out of him, ideally, unless the bats are really, really worth it. Taylor Rogers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies comes in with a 35.5% K overall, a 27% K rate to righties, and a 52.7% K rate against lefties over a 40 innings pitch sample size. That's actually a crazy number to lefties. So if there's a lineup that is very loaded with lefties, I mean, the guy has just been absolutely dominant against those lefties. And we also have conflicting reports that it could be Jesus Luzardo. I always say, as far as my my pitchers, I do refer to DraftKings. They've been pretty on point with the projected pitchers on the season. So I do think it's going to be Taylor Rogers. If it's Luzardo, obviously a very different story here. But Rogers has a bunch of K upside. It's really just a matter of his pitch count as far as his most recent performances. You can see he's been right up around 75 pitches, and it's just kind of tough to be targeting a guy when he's kind of that limited in the price points that we're seeing at him around the industry. I mean, he's priced all the way up to 9.2 on DraftKings. I don't know what he is on FanDuel because he's not the expected starter here on this sheet, but he could be a viable option. Freddie Peralta's coming back off the IL, so I don't expect him to go too deep here. As far as his pitch count, he's placed on August 19th, and I expect him to be pretty limited. He's priced all the way up to 9.3 here on FanDuel. I think he's going to be too priced up as well at 10.2. It's just going to be very hard unless we find out that he's a full go. We have Shohei Ohtani taking on the Texas Rangers, a lineup we've been targeting a bunch. They traded away a bunch of assets. They're really not a good lineup. They have he has a 29.9% K overall with a 13.3 swing strike rate. Really, his only issue is his walk rate, and I don't think that's going to be an issue when you're taking on an undisciplined team that strikes out a lot. A 35.4% K rate against righties, a 24.7% K rate against lefties for Ohtani. And as mentioned, the Rangers don't scare us. They only have a 3.23 implied run total. He is 10.8 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 8.7. So, you know, a pretty friendly discount on DraftKings in the comparison to FanDuel. And looking at his most recent outing, he had 7 strikeouts, 84 innings pitched, 4 earned runs over 5 frames pitched against the Baltimore Orioles. And he can be a little hit or miss. Honestly, it feels like he's always overpriced. It kind of just feels like he's not worth paying up for. But you can't ask for a much better matchup here. And I think he's a viable play. Alek Manoah's been really great since joining the Blue Jays with a 27.9% K overall, a 12.6 swinging strike rate, 25.7% K rate to righties, and a 30.1% K rate to lefties. Pretty good as far as ground ball, fly ball, hard contact stuff, slugging as well. And he is taking on an Oakland squad tonight that is In Toronto, he's a 151 favorite. He's 10K on FanDuel on DraftKings. They have him priced at 9-1. And I do think this is a pretty decent matchup for him. His last performance against Detroit, he had 8 strikeouts over 6.1 innings pitched, 103 pitches. He's had a very long leash, 103 pitches, 108 pitches his last 2 times out after getting blown up the previous start. And has responded very well. Has taken on a Chicago White Sox team that's really starting to get healthy, pitched a very good game. Detroit, a much better matchup, of course. And I think Oakland could be a pretty friendly matchup for him here as far as strikeouts are concerned. He's definitely going to be a guy that I'm interested in looking at. And I mean, as far as Huascar Ynoa, that game's in Coors, so I really don't like targeting pitchers in Coors. I just don't think that's smart to be doing. Sean Manaea taking on Toronto could be interesting. Nestor Cortez taking on Baltimore. Their team we've been targeting a lot. He has a 25.6% K overall, a 24.6% K rate against righties, and a 28.4% K rate against lefties. Has had his hard contact issues against righties for sure, and the Orioles do have some pretty decent bats against righties, but I also think he's been pretty solid all season long. He's a 241 favorite, expected to win fairly easily. He's 7-3 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they've got him priced at 6-9. And as far as his pitch count, we've seen it really climb up recently. He's been all the way up to 98, 104, 95. The last 3 times out, he's had 7 Ks, 7 Ks, and 4 Ks. So I actually think that Nestor Cortez is a very interesting option. I do think that the Orioles bats could definitely be viable against him as well, but he's very reasonably priced around the industry. He's taken on a Baltimore team we've really been looking to target. And I definitely am going to like Nathan Eovaldi taking on the Cleveland Indians as well on the Red Sox. He's a 24.6% K overall. Ground ball, fly ball stuff isn't the worst, with a 23.8% K rate to righties and a 25.4% K rate to lefties. And I think this is definitely a very good matchup for him. Taking on this Cleveland Indians squad. It's only 65 degrees in Cleveland. Great pitching weather. The ball shouldn't carry all too much there. He's 9-1 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's priced at 9-8. And when you're looking at his recent performances, he's had 7 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, and 10 strikeouts. And his last performance was against the same Cleveland team, where he rung up 7 strikeouts, 200 runs across 5.1 innings pitched. Of course, we want him to go a little bit deeper in the game than that. If he can be a little bit more efficient with his pitches, that'll go a long way for us. But I definitely do like Nathan Eovaldi tonight. I like John Means taking on the New York Yankees for his upside. They have been striking out a bunch. He has a 22.9% K overall with a 24% K rate to righties and an 18.5% K rate to lefties. I also definitely do like the Yankees right-handed power bats. So once again, similar situation as the other side of this game. But John Means could definitely have a bunch of upside here in a matchup against these New York Yankees with the strikeout rate that they have. And he's priced pretty reasonably across the industry. I mean, on DraftKings, he's priced all the way down to 6-6. And looking at his recent performances, he's been right around 92, 91, 95 pitches, 7 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts with 4, 3, and 2 earned runs. Not terrible, and his opponents have been pretty tough opponents. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, those are a bunch back-to-back. I mean, not that the Yankees are a much easier opponent, but from a strikeout rate, I do think that they could strike out a lot more than some of his previous matchups, and I think he's a great upside play here. So high risk, high upside. I wanted to mention him. 8-2 on FanDuel is not nearly as friendly as a price as the 6-6 price on DraftKings, but you can play him on either site. I do like him definitely more on DraftKings with the price discount there. And then once we get down past them, things start to get not as interesting very quickly. I do like Vladimir Gutierrez taking on the Detroit Tigers because I like anyone that's taking on the Detroit Tigers right now. They're just not a good team, so I definitely want to mention him. An 18.4% K overall with a 21.4% K rate to righties and a 14.9% K rate to lefties. And as far as his recent performances, he's definitely been pitching a lot better. Last time out, he did get blown up by a Miami squad for 5 earned runs, but before that, 1-2, 1-1 earned runs with 6, 6, 7, and 8 Ks. So has definitely been pitching a lot more efficiently. Has had some pretty friendly matchups with the Chicago Cubs, the Miami Marlins, etc. But I mean, he gets another good matchup here, so why not take advantage? Taking on this Detroit Tigers team tonight. 8-5 on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, they have him priced at 8-7. A 184 favorite. And definitely a guy I will have interest in tonight. And that's pretty much it for pitching. Let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill and active ERA. Worst to best, it's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in the season and how good he's expected to be in the future. And the worst on the slate tonight by far is going to be Jose Urena taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Terrible hard contact, 41.7% hard contact rate. That's worse on the slate with a 417 slugging given up to righties and a 557 slugging given up to lefties. Very, very bad against left-handed hitting. We definitely enjoy targeting him against those lefties. And, I mean, we targeted him with lefties, I should say. And he's expected to be the long reliever here. Now, it's going to be Tyler Alexander as the opener. When you're looking at his stuff here as far as what he features, he's the exact opposite. Gives up a lot of hard contact to righties, and lefties he's very dominant. So I think that's actually plays into our hands pretty well here because we can pretty much play the whole stack, not worry about it. We know the Detroit Tigers bullpen's terrible. It's in Cincinnati, which is one of the best hitting environments of baseball. Pulling up the diagram here, the Great American Small Park, as we like to call it, the Great American Ballpark. A lot of green going on as far as home runs. Love targeting this ballpark. And I think the Reds are going to be a tremendous stack today. India, Stevenson, Castellanos all rake off lefties against Alexander, the opener. And then Votto, Suarez, Kyle Farmer, Aquino, and DeShields. I really like this lineup 1 through 8, and could definitely target both sides of the plate. You know, Joey Votto, the lone lefty in the lineup, it looks like. And I like them all. I like all these bats, so I definitely like the Cincinnati Reds stack for multiple reasons. We got Jake Arrieta taking on the Houston Astros, another guy that doesn't do good at the hard contact rate with a 575 slugging given up to righties and a 554 slugging given up to lefties. That is not good. The Houston Astros are going to be in a tremendous spot tonight, very similar to our friends in the Reds we just talked about. They're on the road in San Diego. Altuve, Brantley, Correa, Alvarez, Gurriel, Bregman, Tucker. This lineup's starting to get healthy. Maldonado, the 8 spot. I really love the 1 through 7. Really like all those guys. I mean, when Kyle Tucker's your 7 hitter, you really do have a great lineup. I really do like the Houston Astros stack tonight. They can definitely get to him. Vladimir Gutierrez, we already mentioned. I really like targeting him against the Tigers, but if you're going to stack up the Tigers in this spot, it would make some sense because of the ballpark and everything that we discussed. They only have a 4.06 implied run total, but I have no issues with you playing some of these top bats. Gil Badu, Scope, Grossman, Miguel Cabrera, Candelario, Haas. I mean, Nico Goodrum. I mean, they do have some pretty decent power, and with the ballpark factored and everything, they could go off here. So I think you can definitely play Gutierrez. You can definitely play the Detroit Pats as a lower owned stack. I would lean towards liking Gutierrez over the Detroit stack, I will admit, but you can go there if you'd like. Keuchel taking on the Kansas City Royals. He's really started to go downhill as of late. Typically a very good ground ball pitcher. 459 slugging given up to righties, though, and a 456 slugging given up to lefties. And taking on a Royals team tonight that is not the most loaded lineup in the world, unfortunately. But does have some pretty good right-handed bats against lefties. So most notably, Whit Merrifield, Salvador Perez, great play. Carlos Santana, Michael Taylor really rakes off those lefties. They have Alberto Mondesi back. Hunter Dozier, Hanser Alberto at the bottom of the lineup also do prefer facing left-handed pitching over righties. So I have no issues with you going to that stack tonight. Randy Dobnak taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Going to be more so of a bullpen game in this one, I believe. And that could be great news for the Rays because, I mean, the Minnesota bullpen is not good. Dobnak's been able to reach his way all up to 70 pitches at times. If he gets blown up early like he did against the Houston Astros and the New York Yankees where he gave up 8 earned runs and 6 earned runs, this could be a really great game for the Tampa Bay Rays, and I definitely think you could target them. He's been giving up a 547 slugging to righties and a 633 slugging to lefties. That is very bad, and he only strikes out right-handed hitting at 14.8% clip and only strikes out lefties at a 9.4% clip. So love targeting me some Randy Dobnak, love targeting me some Minnesota bullpen, and love the Tampa Bay Rays stack. Brandon Lau, Nelson Cruz, Wander Franco, Austin Meadows, Randy Rosarino, Joey Wendell, Yandy Diaz, Kevin Kiermaier, and Francisco Mejia can play 1 through 9. Once again, a very deep lineup that I love targeting. And that's, add them to the list of these deep lineups we've talked about. The Reds, the Rays, definitely like the Stros, as mentioned. And some great stacks to start out here with. Kyle Gibson taking on Miami. I'm not going to target Miami. And actually, you can definitely play Kyle Gibson at the pitching position. He's definitely viable tonight. Didn't mean to skip over him in the pitching segment. He's 8-1 on DraftKings. And as far as FanDuel, they have him priced at, let's see here, 9-4. It's in Miami, one of the best pitching ballparks in baseball, and he gets one of the best possible matchups you could ask for. Doesn't have the most lethal K strikeout stuff, but he's really good in the ground ball, fly ball stuff, so you can definitely target him from a pitching aspect. Didn't mean to skip over him. Madison Bumgarner, you can definitely target with right-handed power. He continues to go up with a 442 slugging to righties. Terrible ground ball, fly ball stuff. The Seattle Mariners definitely have some bats that you could get at some low ownership tonight that really do rake left-handed pitching, and they're in Arizona, which is a big ballpark upgrade for them. And yeah, Mitch Haniger rakes lefties. Ty France good against lefties. Kyle Seager, lefty on lefty. He's actually been very good against lefties. Toro, Tom Murphy, Dylan Moore, both rake lefties as well. And then if we find out that the other catcher for the Mariners is in there, he rakes lefties as well. I can't quite think of his name right now. I don't know why. Not going to come to my brain, but there's another catcher for the Mariners that rakes lefties. Apologies for the stump there. Cal Quantrill taking on the Boston Red Sox. He's very easy to break down as far as his stuff. He really just doesn't strike anyone out. The hard contact stuff's pretty decent, but the Red Sox lineup could definitely get to him. Not the best hitting weather, as mentioned earlier in this game, though, so I'm not getting too excited about the Red Sox stack, but that's a place I would keep my eyes on the Vegas lines. If that comes out with a huge total, could definitely be looking to them. And then once we start to scroll down here, things get pretty dried up pretty quickly for the most part. I mean, Rich Hill taking on Washington, you can definitely target him with right-handed power. The Nationals do have a few righties that are starting to shine against lefties. Most notably, Carter Kieboom, he's really been raking. You got Lane Thomas, Josh Bell, but overall this lineup's just really not good. Not getting too excited to target them. Tyler Anderson taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's really easy to target against righties as well with a 467 slugging given up. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. Only a 20.4% K rate. So if you want to target the Arizona bats in Arizona, I wouldn't hate it whatsoever with guys like Nick Ahmed, Ketel Marte, Carson Kelly, Christian Walker, Andy Young, Drew Ellis. Those righties could pay off for you in tournaments as a lower-owned stack. You can be looking there. The obvious spot is in Coors Field. Antonio Senzatella taking on the Atlanta Braves. He does have good ground ball, fly ball stuff. He just doesn't strike anyone out, and he does give up a decent amount of slugging to righties and lefties with a 405 slugging to righties, a 424 slugging to lefties. I will say he's a pretty respectable pitcher, and when he gets away from Coors, he does tend to have pretty decent outings, but he's in Coors tonight. The Braves have a very good lineup. They have a 6.21 implied run total. I'd expect the ball to be put in play early and often, and the Colorado Rockies bullpen is terrible as well. So Albies, Soler, Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley, Darno, Swanson, Duvall, Jock Peterson. That's a loaded lineup. Love the spot in Coors for sure. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of ownership, but for good reason. And we already covered the Reds. Carlos Hernandez taking on the Chicago White Sox is a guy that's really struggled against right-handed power on the season. He's actually been a lot more effective against lefties, and the Royals bullpen's not good, and the Chicago White Sox lineup is definitely starting to get a lot healthier, as mentioned earlier in the video. They definitely have a loaded lineup, and I think this is a game that's only going to be featured on the DraftKings slate. So something to keep in mind there. No, I'm not. That's going to be featured on both. I was going to say, I knew I was missing something. Sorry, once again. Yeah, so we're not scared of targeting him with right-handed power. We're not scared of the Kansas City Royals bullpen. They're not good. Luis Robert, Yon Moncada, Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez, all those righty power bats I'm really going to like. And then towards the bottom, whether we have Brian Godin, Gavin Sheets has shown a lot of power. Larry Garcia, Cesar Hernandez. So once again, a very deep lineup, 1 through 9. I'm going to like that spot for them, especially when they get to that bullpen. And then we have a few guys here that are pretty bad against right-handed hitting, and Urquidy and Waka, both of them really struggling against righties on the season. So you can definitely target the San Diego Padres right-handed bats, the Minnesota Twins right-handed bats. No issues with that. Sean Nolan taking on the New York Mets in a small sample size has not been good. The New York Mets get a big ballpark upgrade going into Washington. Taking on a lefty, you can definitely play Lindor, Pete Alonso, Javi Baez, good against lefties, Kevin Pillar. Jonathan Villar, and then the lefties you can throw in to be different. And once they get to that Washington bullpen, they can have a big game here. So, like them. I had mentioned the New York Yankees taking on John Means. When his hard contact issues to righties, you can definitely target the power righties on the New York Yankees with the 442 slugging up. The ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. In Yankee Stadium, great home run hitting ballpark. And you can definitely play LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Voit, Sanchez. And throwing the lefties in Rizzo, Gallo, and Odor to get different in your stacks and tournaments. And yeah, that's what I'd be looking to tonight. That's my main core of who I'd be targeting. No one else I'm getting all too excited to target outside of Ynoa in Coors Field. Of course, the Rockies can definitely be a viable play. Both these teams just have terrible bullpens too, is the thing. So this whole series has massive upside because if they can get the stars out of the game early, both bullpens are very, very bad. So you could be looking at Connor Joe, Brendan Rodgers, Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, CJ Cron, Ryan McMahon, Tapia, and Nunez. Feel free to stack them up 1 through 8, just like the Braves. So I like that spot. And that's my overall breakdown here. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Nick Castellanos. A little bit of a unique situation here with two pitchers, the opener and Tyler Alexander, and then Jose Urena out of the bullpen. But we know the Detroit Tigers pitching staff is not good, and he's going to get the best of both worlds here in this particular matchup. Gets to take on Alexander in the opener, who gives up a 5.02 slugging to righties. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good, and we know Nick Castellanos absolutely mashes off lefties. And then once he comes out of the ball game, he's going to get to take on Jose Urena, who just hasn't been good overall to anyone all season long. Going to get to face a bunch of bad pitching in this one, right smack dab in the middle of this Cincinnati Reds lineup in the 3 spot. Love this spot for Nick Castellanos. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Nick Castellanos, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.